It's would have been Stuart's 57th birthday today, and I've got his daughters, Taylor and Sydney, in studio. In hour number 2, we're going to have some ice cream and share some memories and talk about his memorial fund. That's an association with
by the
Jimmy
way,
V.
Stu and I used to stand on the same soccer sidelines when our kids were playing.
Is
soccer
that
together.
right? What was that like? What was that like? How is Stuart as a soccer dad? How was he as a soccer?
He was good. He was not like Trey Wingo, who you know very well.
Yes.
Was one of those guys when Chappie was playing football or other sports. He would run up and down the sidelines. Stuart was more reserved. He watched with great pride. He loved the athleticism of the girls, but he was less animated than others on the sideline. There was not a lot of booyah for every kick or every group, because at that age, when there are 6 players on each side and there's 12 around the soccer ball, there's not a lot of booyah going on.
So it wasn't like the SportsCenter commercial where he's rejecting the kids coming at the rack on him, right? Where he's yelling at them.
Right. Exactly.
He didn't do that one.
There wasn't a lot of when he and Kenny Mayne were trying to motivate somebody to say, no, you don't do it that way. I need some energy out of you. We didn't get a lot of that on the sideline.
What's your memory of doing the shows with Stu, Karl, back in the day?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The memory of doing the shows with a lot of those guys was there was a slight level of awe in watching Olbermann and Patrick and Stu, because you're kind of looking at individuals. You know this. Everybody is an individual, so everybody's doing their own thing.
Right.
There's great tag team stuff going on, but there's a lot of individual. He was a unique actor, and there's no doubt about that. He was such a wonderful actor. It's like almost watching a play from literally 2 feet away. Like, oh my gosh, look at what this guy's doing. Look at how he does the highlights. I loved watching him. He bent over the desk. He'd hold up the shot sheet.
Yes.
He'd have one eye on the shot sheet. He'd have one eye watching the video. And he was terrific.
I was watching him do that too. And the things that I would watch him do, Karl, was when he would receive the shot sheet. Again, it's for those who may not know, you get paperwork, and it's kind of like a line by line. They give you basically to let you know what the situation is and what the result is, and like, hey, it's 2 men on, and it's a 3-run homer and things like that. Is he would get the shot sheet in the commercial break, Karl, and then he would know where he could use his catchphrases, and he would write them down on the shot sheet. And he would, and I just remembered he would always spell out booyah. He would spell out booyah. It was BOO-YOW. That's how he would spell it. Booyah. That's how he would spell it on his shot sheets. And he would nail it. He would nail it every time, every single time. And you're right. He would bend over because, he had poor eyesight as well.
Right.
So he would always need the lights up. But it was a party, man. Every time. Every single time. Whenever he did it. So he would have been 57 today. Oh, and I had Killer in studio just a couple weeks ago. I had Kilborn here as well. So that's I love that.
Great laugh.
Yep. He would
feel good.
Just remember, Bruins Lightning.
Yeah.
You ever remember that uncle who used to kind of ask you to come behind the shed to tie the skates? Let's go to the highlights.
That was the lead in the Bruins Lightning. That was the leader.
Oh God, yeah. So we all had that neighborhood and the family that had that rink. And remember when you walk down the street with your skates slung over your shoulder and the hockey stick, and then that guy would say, "Hey, come on over here and let me put your skates on." The Bruins and the Canadians.
Oh my God! You'll be happy.
There were 2 obsessions too. There was the randomness. Look, he knows this. Steve Anderson. We're pulling the curtain back. But Steve Anderson was in charge of SportsCenter at that point. After about 2 weeks, I walked into Steve Anderson's office and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't get any of this. I can't do this. None of this is making sense." He's got this Spud Webb obsession. There's a Pooh Richardson thing going on here. I'm used to working with people who seem to take this sport thing a little more seriously. And to his wonderful credit, Steve Anderson said, "Karl, I hear you. Be patient." And in about a month, I was the straight man to his comedic act, and it really worked really, really well.
It sure did,
I
man.
give Steve Anderson credit, because that was a foreign language he was speaking.
It's still, just so you're aware, he still has a Minnesota Timberwolves fixation, in case you're wondering. And then on occasion, he would glance at the screen and worry that the pants color that he was wearing was not being accurately portrayed by the color on the screen. He was concerned about that. He's concerned that the pants was coming across as too gold.
He would sit in his cubicle and he would talk to himself, and the mirror was his best friend. He's a beautiful person.
It was.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's just. Oh, poo. I'm sorry for digressing.
No. This is great.
It was a great time in our lives when
it was
when SportsCenter was such an appointment viewing show, and you and he and Stu and Keith and Dan were all major faces and parts of that.
Amazing. Yeah, Stuart again would have been 57 today. I just figured I'd go stroll down memory lane with you.